So I just finished watching the Penguin miniseries on Max, and it was honestly a surprise in more ways than one. Like my video on The Last of Us, I'm going to review each episode, and at the end, rank them all. I will try to keep this as non-spoilery as possible. Starting with Episode 1. Okay, first, like a basic plot. Oz, or the Penguin, tries to exploit a new power vacuum in the Falcone crime family, making shaky alliances and moving a new drug. Meanwhile, Sophia Falcone has recently been released from Arkham Asylum, mentally worse for wear and resentful at those who sent her there. Oz strikes up a friendship with a young man named Victor who he mentors in the business. Episode 1 felt like a pilot in the best kind of way. It's paced perfectly. So much happens, so much is set up, but nothing feels rushed. All the major characters, motivations, and plot points are established without anything being too convenient or forced. On top of that, it's entertaining. The dialogue scenes are intense. The characters are memorable. How these people are introduced is important too, because they're done so in relation to Oz. Oftentimes, other people are around during these introductions, so we're able to get a lot of narrative meat, a lot of info on these personalities, mannerisms, and lifestyles. I knew Colin Farrell would be great, and he is, but who blew my mind was Kristen Milioti. She strikes a different kind of terror, and that's an attractive woman who is unhinged and capable of anything. There's a bit toward the end where she's interrogating the Penguin, and she looks downright horrifying. This was a fantastic way to start off the show, and I'd recommend any writers out there to watch this. 9 out of 10.
That I'm too emotional, and that I have an overactive imagination, and that I shouldn't take things so personally.
Episode 2. My problem with this episode is actually how it was shot. The directing and cinematography for the show is overall fine, perfectly competent. However, in episode 2, something felt off. A large chunk of it takes place in a single house during a funeral, so that's more of a burden for the camera. How do we keep this from looking stale? Well, it doesn't really. On top of that, everything is shot too close for comfort. Maybe it's no more closely shot than other episodes, but here I felt it. It's brown rooms with murky lighting and faces taking up the frame. And before the dislikes come rolling in, I still really liked this episode. Yes, the events feel more rushed than episode 1, but this pacing also gives a sense of panic that the visuals didn't. And what really held all this together are the performances. Oz truly has no compunction about doing whatever is necessary to save his skin. And it's enthralling to watch that feverish sort of glint in his eyes when he's pulling these horrible plans off. One thing I particularly like about this episode is what isn't in it. I hate when shows offer up a big episode with twists and turns and shocking revelations, and then the next episode is nothing more than slowly dealing with the fallout. Episode 2 follows up on the previous one, but explores so much more. Oz and Victor's relationship, Sophia's paranoia, bribery, kidnapping, and yes, it's a lot, maybe too much, but I prefer that to coasting. 7 out of 10.
This should be fun. What do you say, Oz? You in?
Let's dance.
Episode 3. The biggest appeal of this episode, story-wise, is seeing Oz and Sophia working together. With that, I do love how Sophia still sees Oz as an underling to a certain extent, and throughout the series there are callbacks to Oz being Sophia's driver many years ago. Very few characters in this show actually like each other. They operate like nations, really. They're allies not out of love or kinship, but out of hating someone else more. Another theme of the show is how easily people can be bought by influence, by money, or the chance of revenge. The setting where they talk with the gang, the Triads, looks awesome. Costume design is on point, and I feel like the designer for Sophia in particular is having a lot of fun. Her outfits fit her many emotional stages: innocence, repression, seductress, queen bee, vulture? We also get a lot of Victor in this episode. The bond between him and Oz is growing, but there's always that threat of violence. Victor is loyal, but it's partially out of fear. He's not a full-on victim either, and he has autonomy and hunger and choices too. and you could argue that he actually changes the most over the course of the series. There's a big moment at the end that upsets everything, and there's a tragedy at the beginning. But otherwise, this is as close to a pleasant episode you can get in this show. 7 out of 10. Episode 4. Much of it rides on the actress's shoulders, and as expected, she faces every demand of the script head on. I did have a couple problems. There's the crazy cellmate character, and even for crazy, I thought her acting was over the top and kind of killed the immersion for me. This felt like something out of the Gotham show, not this. And second, the Julian Rush character is just so bland to me. He's a good actor, and the hypnosis technique is interesting, especially when used later on in the series, but this character is a one-dimensional support character with zero agency other than being Sophia's support. It's the same problem I had with characters like that guy from Lilo and Stitch and other guys that girls pretend to desire on Instagram posts. They're just simps. It's still a great episode. Sophia's horror at her sentencing feels real. That specific kind of shock and anger from something unjust. It's palpable and it boils your blood. Mark Strong plays a solid villain as usual, using his posture and eye contact to really give the guy an intimidating presence. Also, like episode 1, I feel like I got a full meal. They still found time to give us the climax of the family mansion, which was both disturbing and satisfying. The image of a yellow dress and a gas mask will hopefully stand the test of time. From story to especially acting, this was a great episode. 8 out of 10.
I know you're all anxious for me to leave. No one has been shy about that. I'd really hoped that it would be different. But I understand.
Episode 5. Solid episode. Nice balance of violence and intrigue. I'll just say my favorite and least favorite part. Favorite is the choice of song when Oz and Victor wander through the sewers. It paired nicely with the visuals, and I liked how the focus of this location wasn't 100% clear until the final line. It was a fun, kind of moment. My least favorite? The fire sequence is a bit convenient. I don't know, there's something about it, like how easily it could have been prevented if characters said anything or moved 6 inches to the left. I don't know, like Oz may as well just blinded himself and started firing an AK-47 into the air because the bullets were always going to hit their target. Still, top tier episode, 8 out of 10.
Still, you piece of shit.
Oh, you were so fucked, man. You messed with the wrong fucking family. My mother, my father, they won't stand for me.
That's what I'm counting on.
Episode 6. First off, that new haircut on Sophia, fucking yikes. I'm reminded of that line from The Godfather. Look at how they massacred my boy. I know it symbolizes her full transition into rebel, rebelling against family, against tradition, against boundaries, but it just looks stupid. This episode reeks of missed opportunity. I'm fine with the bliss drug itself not being that intriguing, but the show completely skips over Oz's success with it, fast-forwarding like it's any of us watching a comedy scene with Awkwafina. And it's such a shame because a wealth of great material is sitting there for the taking. The sewers represent everything that connects Oz and Victor. It's the lower rungs of society, the forgotten people that the elite can't see from their mansions. And beyond the themes, it's a cool concept, sending dealers out on bikes that deal bliss and sneak back to the sewers like they're rats. But we barely get any of that. When Oz changes his strategy around the drug, again, it's a fantastic concept, but we basically have to assume it's working. The meeting with the gang leaders is a bit corny. They literally agree to a criminal partnership by popping open beer cans. Which, actually saying that out loud, no, it's kind of cool, actually. It's not realistic, it's very much an HBO moment, but, beer. It's a good sound. This isn't a bad episode by any means. The acting is still great. I haven't mentioned Clancy Brown, who brings a machismo to his character as expected, but also humanity. He's heartbroken and frustrated, and as a result, he's easily manipulated. In a sly way, this is foreshadowing to a certain decision later on. The idea that emotional attachments make someone weak. 6 out of 10.
Can't believe you opened that.
What? I was just gathering dust. Just like your father.
Episode 7. I didn't hate it. I wasn't rolling my eyes, but I knew halfway through that this was a setup episode. I'm fine with a slower, more introspective episode, but nothing really moved until the ending. The flashback does come back in a big way in the final episode, but it's just not a great watch. The child actor is fine, but I very much see the performance, not the Penguin. There's also a death in the episode that couldn't be more underwhelming if it tried. I get the feeling that was the point, but what was the point? Just to make things easier for Oz? To add some levity to this mob story? Is it trying to be Sopranos? Because the Penguin is not Sopranos. I honestly don't have much to say about this one. Yes, there is a disturbing revelation. Yes, a scene with Sophia and a young girl is unnerving. But otherwise, this isn't a very deep, eventful, or entertaining episode. When it's over, all you're really left thinking is, God, I hope the payoff is worth it. 6 out of 10.
You know, show me what a big man you are, what a fucking big man you are! Huh? Well, I got you! I fucking got you! You filthy, stupid prick! Fuck you! Trying to steal from me!
And episode 8. Yeah, the payoff was worth it. This is a good episode until it became a fantastic one. Victor puts his newfound confidence on full display. The mother-son relationship is at the forefront, and it goes to unsettling places. Also, Miliotti's acting during a certain standoff was brilliant. Quick, but it felt so real. It was like watching an actual person in danger. The way this all wrapped up is what tilts the episode into the great category. The way every person's story was resolved took me by surprise, but never in a way that was random or silly. One individual's punishment is so brutal, I can't even put it into words. This series ended on such a dark note, and I love it. The ones who got the happiest endings are us, the audience. Because despite all the pretty dresses and top hats, what a nightmare it must be to be in these characters' shoes. 8 out of 10. The series as a whole, I would give an 8 out of 10. A well-written and acted crime drama that pretty much anyone could enjoy, but also doesn't pull any punches. As far as ranking the episodes, from worst to best is the sluggish episode 7, the missed opportunities of episode 6, episode 2's funeral shenanigans, episode 3's alliance, episode 5, episode 8, the hair-raising episode 4 is a runner-up, and episode 1, with its perfect pacing, slick writing, and incredible performances, is the best in the series. So, did you guys watch this show yet? How would you rank the episodes? Also, I just set up a Patreon, so big shout out to Alika Kelly and Misty King for their support. Check out the link for some fun rewards. Comment below, subscribe to support the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.